AITA for refusing to let my sister's boyfriend live with us, even though she's going through a tough time? So, here's the background. I, 32F, live with my husband, 34M, and our two kids, 4M and 1F, in a modest but cozy house in the suburbs. I work full-time as a graphic designer, and my husband is a software engineer. We have a good rhythm going with our family life, and our home is usually calm and organized, which is something I value a lot. My younger sister, Emma, 28F, has always been kind of the wild card in our family. She's smart and funny, but tends to make impulsive decisions, especially when it comes to relationships. She's been dating her boyfriend, Dan, 30M, for about a year now. Dan has a decent job, but he's not exactly the most responsible person I've ever met. He's got a bit of a temper and sometimes drinks too much, which has caused some drama in the past. Anyway, about 3 months ago, Emma lost her job at a retail store due to some restructuring. Since then, she's been struggling financially and emotionally, especially because she also recently went through a bad breakup with Dan's best friend. It's been rough. She reached out to me and my husband a couple of times for support, which we've gladly given. She's been crashing at my parents' place occasionally, but their house is pretty crowded, and they aren't exactly thrilled about having her there all the time. Last week, Emma called me late at night in tears. She said that her landlord was selling the apartment she was renting and she had to move out within 2 weeks. She begged if she could stay at our place temporarily while she figured things out. My husband and I talked it over and decided that we could help her out for a short time, so we told her she could stay for a couple of weeks. I made it clear that it would be temporary and that she would need to start seriously looking for a new job and a place to live. A few days after Emma moved in, Dan showed up at our house unannounced. He said he had nowhere else to go and wanted to stay with us too, at least for a while. I was hesitant because I didn't really know him well, and I had seen some of the red flags in how he behaved when Emma was around. Plus, I was worried about how my husband and kids would feel with an extra adult who we didn't really trust. I told Dan politely but firmly that we couldn't accommodate him. Emma was upset and said that it wasn't fair because Dan had been supporting her emotionally and financially, and that if he wasn't welcome, she might as well not stay either. I explained again that we were helping Emma out, but Dan staying was a different matter. Over the next few days, Emma and Dan kept pushing. Emma said they couldn't afford to split rent right now, and that Dan was trying to get a better job, but it would take some time. Dan even offered to help with household chores and babysitting. I appreciated the offer, but still felt uncomfortable with the idea. Things got tense when Dan started showing up at our house uninvited, sometimes late at night. He would hang out in the living room or kitchen, which made my husband and me uneasy. One evening, my husband found that some of our liquor was missing, and he suspected Dan might have taken some. When confronted, Dan denied it, but the atmosphere in the house was strained. I sat down with Emma and told her we needed boundaries. Emma argued that Dan was part of her life and that we should trust her judgment. I told her that my priority was the safety and comfort of my family, and if Dan couldn't respect that, he wasn't welcome. Emma got angry and accused me of being selfish and judgmental. She said that when she needed us the most, we were turning her away. I felt terrible because I love my sister, but I also felt like I was doing what was best for my household. The situation escalated when Emma threatened to leave and not come back if Dan wasn't allowed to stay. I told her that was her choice, but she couldn't force us to take in someone who made us uncomfortable. She left in tears that night and hasn't spoken much since. My parents think I was right to set boundaries, but some of our mutual friends say I should be more understanding. My husband supports me, but is frustrated by the stress it's causing. So, Reddit, AITA for refusing to let my sister's boyfriend live with us, even though she's going through a tough time. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. It helps the content grow and motivates me to create even more great videos. Turn on notifications so you don't miss any new uploads. By the way, I'm curious, when do you usually watch my videos? While working, studying, or just relaxing at home? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. Thank you for your support. AITA for refusing to attend my sister's wedding after she insulted my fiancé and then accused me of being selfish. I never thought I'd find myself in a situation where family drama would get this out of hand, but here I am, wondering if I really am the asshole or if my sister is just being unreasonable. This whole thing spiraled over what I thought was a harmless disagreement, but it blew up into a full-blown family war. A bit of background. I'm 28F. My sister is 31F. We've always had a somewhat competitive relationship growing up, nothing too intense, mostly just sibling rivalry. Our parents always encouraged us to support each other, and for the most part, we did, though we definitely have very different personalities. I'm more introverted and laid back, while she's outgoing and likes to be the center of attention. About a year ago, I started dating my now fiancé, 30M, and I couldn't have been happier. He's kind, thoughtful, and genuinely cares about me. When we got engaged a few months ago, my sister was among the first to congratulate me, which felt nice. However, that seemed to be the last genuine positive interaction for a while. My sister got engaged about 6 months ago, too, and started planning her wedding immediately. At first, I was excited for her, and she was for me, but then the problem started. She decided she wanted a big, fancy wedding at a high-end venue, with all the bells and whistles. I, on the other hand, am having a small, intimate ceremony with just close family and friends at a cozy spot in the countryside. One of the biggest points of contention was the guest list. My sister insisted that I invite her fiancé and his family to my wedding, which I was fine with, but she also wanted to invite people I barely knew just because she knew them, and she expected me to accommodate a bunch of extras. I explained that my wedding was small, and I was trying to keep it intimate. She called me selfish for not expanding my guest list to her liking, which rubbed me the wrong way. Then the real trouble started when she began making passive-aggressive comments about my fiancé. She said he was too quiet and didn't fit in with the type of people she socialized with. I told her that my fiancé is wonderful and that I didn't appreciate her undermining him. She brushed it off as joking, but it felt mean. 2 weeks ago, she invited me over to her house to talk about wedding plans, and things exploded. She started criticizing my choice of venue, saying it was too boring and not elegant enough. I defended my choice, saying it felt more personal to me. Then she started in on my fiancé again, this time saying he looks like he came off a farm and that she didn't see how I ended up with someone like him. I was stunned and told her that was completely uncalled for. She doubled down, saying she was just being honest and that I was overreacting by taking it personally. I told her that if she had something against my fiancé, she should keep it to herself out of respect for me. That's when she accused me of being dramatic and too sensitive and said I was making everything about me. I left her house feeling hurt and confused. I decided not to bring it up with our parents or other family members because I wanted to resolve it between us first. I sent her a message the next day saying that I wouldn't tolerate disrespect toward my fiancé and that if she couldn't be supportive, I'd reconsider my involvement in her wedding. She responded with a long message saying I was selfish and trying to sabotage her big day, accusing me of being jealous of her and trying to make her wedding about me. She said she didn't want me at her wedding if I was going to act like that. Since then, I told her I wouldn't attend her wedding unless she apologized for insulting my fiancé and accused me of being selfish. She has refused and said she has no intention of apologizing. Our parents are caught in the middle and keep urging me to just let it go for the sake of family harmony, but I don't feel like I should have to accept being insulted or treat someone who disrespects my partner as family. Our other siblings are divided, with some supporting me and others siding with my sister. It's created a lot of tension in the family, and now my fiancé and I have been avoiding family gatherings altogether to keep the peace. So, Reddit, AITA for refusing to attend my sister's wedding after she insulted my fiancé and then called me selfish for standing up for him? Should I just suck it up and go to keep the family peace, or am I right to hold my ground? AITA for refusing to attend my sister's wedding because of how she treated my daughter? This is a long one, so bear with me. I, 38F, have a daughter, Lily, who is 7 years old. My sister, Megan, 34F, has been single for most of her adult life and only recently got engaged to a guy named David. Megan and I have always had a complicated relationship, kind of the usual sibling rivalry stuff, but over the last few years, it's gotten more tense because of how she treats my daughter. Growing up, Megan never liked kids much. She always said she didn't want any of her own, and honestly, that's fine. But it's turned into something weird when it comes to Lily. Megan is very particular about her space and her belongings, and she's very controlling in general. When Lily was younger, Megan would often complain about her being noisy or messy during family visits. I tried to explain to Megan that kids are kids, and sometimes they get excited or a little loud, but Megan never softened on that. The real problem started about 2 years ago when Megan began dating David. David is nice enough, but he has this kind of cold vibe, very stern and formal. When Megan introduced him to Lily, he didn't really engage with her, which was sad because Lily is super friendly and loves making new friends. Megan would often tell me afterward that David doesn't do kids, which I understood but didn't think was a big deal. After all, it's a relationship. Things escalated when Megan and David moved into their new house. They wanted it to be spotless and perfect, with no clutter or chaos. They asked me not to bring Lily over very often, saying the house wasn't kid-friendly. It was frustrating, but I respected their wishes to some extent. Still, when Megan visited me, she would constantly criticize how I parented or how Lily behaved, often comparing her to other kids or saying she was too loud or wild. The breaking point happened last year during Megan's birthday party. She held it at a fancy restaurant and invited a lot of people, including my family. Lily was excited and tried to be on her best behavior, but kids being kids, she got a bit restless and started to fidget during the speeches. Megan snapped at her loudly in front of everyone, calling her rude and ungrateful. It was humiliating for Lily and me. I pulled Megan aside later to talk about it, but she just brushed it off, saying Lily needed to learn manners. After that, I started limiting how much Megan and Lily interacted. Megan tried to guilt-trip me by saying I was overprotective and making Lily a victim of the family drama. I didn't respond much. I just wanted to protect my daughter's feelings. Now, fast forward to recently, Megan announced her wedding date, and the invitations went out. When I got mine, there was a handwritten note on the RSVP card that said, "We love Lily, but please make sure she's on her best behavior. No disruptions." That felt like a slap in the face. I called Megan to discuss it, hoping to clear the air and make sure Lily would be welcome without conditions. Megan's response was icy. She said, "If Lily can't behave, then maybe she shouldn't be there. This is an adult event, and David and I want it to be perfect." I tried to explain that Lily is a child and that I was willing to do my best to ensure she behaved, but Megan didn't budge. She implied that if Lily was a problem, I could just skip the wedding. This put me in a really tough spot. I want to support my sister on her big day, but I also don't want to put Lily in an environment where she's not genuinely welcomed or where she's being treated like a burden. After talking it over with my husband and a few close friends, I decided to politely decline the invitation and told Megan I wouldn't be attending unless the attitude towards Lily changed. Megan responded by unfriending me on social media and sending me a very cold text saying I was being selfish and that I was making her big day about me and my child. She said I was overreacting and that maybe I needed to grow up. Now, my parents are caught in the middle. They think I'm being too harsh and that I should just put up with it for the sake of family peace. My husband supports me completely and says Megan's behavior is unreasonable. So, AITA for refusing to attend my sister's wedding because of how she treats my daughter and the disrespect in the invitation? Should I just suck it up for the sake of family or stand my ground?